Ranchero sorprendido. ¿Dónde está tu cosa, muchacha? Preguntó a su peona que se bañaba en el río. The sun was low in the sky, painting the desert plains of planet Calvion in shades of gold and red. Small rivers wound through the arid land, their waters glinting like melted glass. Ranchero Martin leaned on the wooden railing of his small hover ranch, squinting toward the distant river. He was used to peace and quiet, the only sounds being the hum of hover cattle drones and the wind across the red rocks. Another long day, huh? He muttered to himself, tugging his wide-brimmed hat lower. His farmhand, a bright and curious young human girl named Leela, had wandered off that morning to collect water from the river. She was fearless, sometimes too fearless for Martine's liking. As he turned to check the pens, a sudden shimmer caught his eye. Something metallic flashed in the river's current. Martine narrowed his eyes, heart skipping a beat. That river had always been quiet, undisturbed. Nothing strange ever happened there. "Lila!" he called, raising his voice over the whistling wind. "Come here right now!" A splash answered him. Lila emerged, laughing, water dripping from her short hair. In her hands, she held a small, strange device that seemed to glow faintly. "What is that?" Martine asked, walking faster. His boots sank slightly into the soft, red sand. "Where did you find it?" "It was in the river," Lila said, eyes wide with excitement. "I think it's some kind of old alien device. Look at these markings." She held it closer. The small gadget was shaped like a cube, about the size of a fist, engraved with symbols that pulsed softly with blue light. Martine frowned. Alien artifacts were not unheard of on Calvion, but they were rare and dangerous if handled carelessly. "Careful! You don't know what it does. Put it down," he warned. But Lila's curiosity was unstoppable. She gently tapped the cube with her finger. Instantly, the device hummed and floated a few inches above her palm. Martine's eyes widened. He stepped back, hovering, glowing, moving on its own. It was definitely not something any human could have made.
"Moo!" Lila whispered.
"It's alive, maybe, or it reacts to us." Martine felt a chill run down his spine. "We need to be careful. We don't know if it's dangerous." Leela, however, could not resist examining it further. She tilted the cube, and the symbols rearranged themselves into new patterns. Suddenly, a soft beam of light shot upward from the device, forming a holographic map above them. Martine blinked. That's not possible. The hologram showed the river, the ranch, and points far beyond, locations that Martine did not recognize. One point blinked urgently, a small red dot pulsing like a heartbeat. "What is it showing?" Martine asked, trying to make sense of the projections. "It's pointing somewhere," Lila said. Her voice trembled with excitement and fear. "Maybe it wants us to follow it." Martine ran a hand through his graying hair. "Follow it? Lila, listen to me. We don't know what this is. It could be a trap." But Lila was already crouching, studying the hologram with intense concentration. "It's like it's alive. Look, it responds to my touch. Maybe it wants us to go there. Maybe it's trying to help." Martine sighed, feeling the familiar tug of adventure in his chest. Humans had always been explorers, inventors, risk-takers. That was what made them special, he reminded himself. It was also why he had survived on this wild planet when many others had given up. "All right," he said finally, "but we do this carefully. We take supplies, comms, and if anything goes wrong, we retreat." Lila nodded, eagerly. She tucked the device safely into her satchel, where it continued to glow softly. The river's current glittered behind them, reflecting the last rays of the sun. As they prepared to leave, Martine noticed something unusual. Tracks. Not animal tracks. These were like small, triangular marks in the sand, leading upstream toward the canyon. They looked fresh. "See these?" he asked, pointing. "We're not the first ones here." Lila's eyes widened. "Could it be aliens?" Martine shrugged. "Could be anything. Calvion isn't as empty as people think. But we'll know soon enough." By the time they reached the edge of the canyon, the sky had turned a deep violet, dotted with 2 moons. The cube hummed louder, its light brighter, as if urging them forward. The air smelled faintly metallic, and the canyon walls shimmered as if charged with energy. Lila hesitated. "It's beautiful." Martine grinned despite his concern. "Beautiful, yes. Dangerous, probably. But that's life, isn't it?" They began following the holographic map. The trail led them over jagged rocks and through patches of glowing alien flora. Strange creatures rustled in the underbrush, their eyes reflecting the cube's light. Lila's laughter echoed as she dodged between plants, fascinated by everything. Martine kept one hand on his blaster, scanning for threats. Hours passed, and the path became harder. Rocks became cliffs, rivers became streams of strange iridescent liquid, and the temperature dropped. The cube floated steadily, pulsing with light, a beacon guiding them through unknown territory. Finally, they reached a small plateau, overlooking a valley. The valley was vast, filled with ancient structures half buried in sand. Massive spires stretched toward the sky, their surfaces etched with symbols like those on the cube. Martine's jaw dropped.
"By the old explorers, this is incredible."
Lila stepped forward, eyes shining. "It's a city, but abandoned?" Before Martine could answer, the cube shot a beam directly at the largest spire. The beam reflected off the structure, forming a glowing doorway in midair, as if inviting them inside. Martine felt both awe and fear. "Lila, we should be careful. This could be a trap, or worse." But Lila didn't hesitate. She glanced at him, excitement sparkling in her eyes. "Humans are meant to explore, Martine. This is our chance." "Don't you feel it?" Martine sighed, knowing he couldn't stop her. Humans had always been curious, always pushing boundaries. Sometimes recklessness led to disaster, but sometimes it led to discovery beyond imagination. With a deep breath, they stepped forward, passing through the glowing doorway together. The air shimmered, and a hum filled their ears. They were no longer just a rancher and his young human explorer. They were pioneers, stepping into a world that no human had seen for centuries. As they entered the spire, the cube hovered before them, its light bathing the walls in blue glow. Symbols danced across the surfaces, reacting to their presence. Martine reached out, touching the wall. It was warm, almost alive. "It's like it. Knows we're here," he whispered. Lila nodded, her gaze fixed on the far end of the spire, where a shadow moved, large, humanoid, and clearly not human. Martine's heart pounded. He had prepared for dangers from the environment, wild beasts, and even rogue AI. But this was something entirely different. The shadow stepped closer, revealing a figure tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered like liquid silver. Its eyes glowed faintly, intelligent, curious, and ancient. "Humans," it said, its voice calm, almost musical. "We have waited a long time for you." Martine and Lila froze, exchanging a glance. This was no ordinary encounter. Their lives, and perhaps the future of humanity, were about to change. The cube pulsed brightly, and the spire seemed to respond, opening further chambers as if inviting them deeper. Martine swallowed hard. Lila, I think, we're about to learn why humans are special. The silver figure stepped closer, its presence commanding yet calm. Martine instinctively placed himself slightly in front of Lila, shielding her from the unknown. The air inside the spire was alive with soft vibrations, almost as if the walls themselves were breathing. The symbols carved into the surfaces shimmered, responding to every movement.
You are humans, the being said again, its voice melodic, almost like the wind over metal chimes. Why have you come here? Martine cleared his throat, trying to steady his voice.
We found a device in the river.
It led us here. His gaze flicked to Lila, who was staring wide-eyed at the figure.
We didn't know what it was, we just followed it, the silver being tilted its head slightly, observing them with luminous eyes. The device chose wisely. Few humans possess the courage and curiosity to follow it. You are different.
Lila stepped forward, her voice shaking with excitement. Different?
How? I wanted to see what it was. Humans always want to explore. We are curious. The being's light seemed to brighten at her words. Curiosity is your gift. It sets you apart from your species' beginnings. Few creatures in the galaxy seek knowledge without fear. You?
Humans do. Martine swallowed.
He had lived his life on this planet, farming and exploring a little, but he had never thought of humans in this way. The being's words stirred something deep inside him, a pride and a responsibility. You wish to learn, the being continued, gesturing to the spire. Then you must understand the past and the choices you may face. Before they could respond, the cube in Lila's satchel rose into the air again. It floated toward the silver figures, spinning slowly. The being extended a hand and the cube merged with its palm. Light exploded in every direction, illuminating the walls. A vision unfolded around them, a holographic projection of Calvion's history. Martine and Lila gasped. Before their eyes, the barren desert had once been alive with vast cities, rivers filled with shimmering water, and flying vehicles gliding between spires. Creatures of strange shapes moved alongside humans. This was your world? Lila whispered. Yes, the being said. Long ago, your ancestors reached out into the stars. Calvion was a hub of knowledge and collaboration, but greed and fear divided civilizations. This place was abandoned to preserve its secrets. You humans, you are the first to return with the curiosity and courage of your ancestors. Martine's mind raced. So, we are here because we are brave enough to explore? Because we're willing to follow the unknown? The being nodded. Yes. But the journey ahead is not simple. Knowledge can be dangerous. Power can be misused. You must prove that humans are worthy. Lila's eyes shone with determination. We can do that. Humans, we never give up.
We learn, we adapt. That's what makes us strong.
The silver figure extended its hand, and the cube detached, floating between them again. Then follow. The first test is beyond this chamber. It is a place where courage and intellect are both required. Only humans can succeed.
Martine swallowed hard, his hand tightening around the strap of his bag.
He had faced dangerous animals, harsh environments, and rogue tech before. But this This was unlike anything he had imagined. Yet he felt a familiar thrill, the same feeling that had carried humanity across planets and stars for centuries. They followed the being through a narrow passage, the walls glowing softly with alien light. The air hummed with energy, and Martin could feel it tickle his skin. The passage led to a massive circular chamber. At its center floated a sphere of pure light, rotating slowly. Symbols orbited it, forming constellations unfamiliar to human eyes. "This is the Chamber of Light," the silver being said. "To proceed, you must understand the patterns. Humans are clever, and yet often impatient. Do you have the patience?" Martin stepped forward cautiously. "We'll try." Lila's hands trembled as she reached toward the sphere, and the cube rose, aligning itself with the light. The symbols spun faster, forming lines that connected points on the sphere. A soft hum filled the chamber, resonating with their bones. Suddenly, the sphere split into multiple smaller orbs, each one showing a puzzle. One displayed a series of shapes, another displayed lights that pulsed in sequence. Lila gasped. "It's a test." "Yes," the being replied. "It tests your intellect, coordination, and cooperation. Humans succeed not by strength alone, but by ingenuity." Ah. Martin studied the orbs. Each seemed impossible at first glance, but as he watched Lila interact, he noticed patterns. "Humans, we notice things others might ignore," he said. "We can combine our skills, think outside the rules." Lila smiled. She touched one orb, and the shapes rotated in her hands. "Look, they respond to us when we think together. It's like the device, like it's alive." Hours seemed to pass, though in reality it was only minutes. Martin and Lila solved one puzzle after another, combining intuition and reasoning. The chamber responded to their success. Lights brightened, the air hummed a happier note, and the sphere rotated faster. Finally, the silver being spoke. "You succeed. Humans are worthy. You demonstrate not just courage, but curiosity, creativity, and cooperation. You are ready for the next stage." Before Martin could ask what the next stage meant, the sphere dissolved, and a doorway appeared on the far side of the chamber. Through it, a valley stretched out, filled with floating platforms and streams of glowing energy. Lila gasped. "It's
Incredible. Floating islands.
energy rivers. It's like a city in the sky." Martin adjusted his hat, awe written across his face. "Humans, we've done amazing things before, but nothing like this." The silver figure hovered beside them. "This next stage is about understanding and respect. You will face beings who are different."
You will need to prove that humans can cooperate with other civilizations. Only then will you unlock the knowledge of your ancestors.
Lila's gaze never wavered. "We can do it.
Humans, we don't give up.
We find solutions, even when everything seems impossible." The being nodded.
Good, but know this. The path ahead is unpredictable.
Some will challenge you, some will deceive you. Trust in your minds, trust in your hearts, and trust in each other.
Martin placed a hand on Lila's shoulder. "We've got this."
We're humans. We always find a way. With that, they stepped through the doorway together, the glowing platforms and energy rivers stretching out before them like a dream. The silver being followed silently, its light pulsing gently as if guiding them. As they moved forward, Lila looked down at the cube in her satchel. It floated above her palm again, glowing brighter than ever. "It's helping us. It chose humans because we can think, adapt, and care. That's what makes us special." Martine smiled. Humans are more than just strong or fast. We're curious. We learn, we create. And sometimes, that's enough to survive anything. The platforms ahead shifted as they approached, forming bridges that seemed impossible to exist in normal physics. Martine and Lila navigated carefully, testing each step, proving their skill and trust in each other. Suddenly, one platform began to tilt dangerously. Martine grabbed Lila's hand, steadying her. "Careful," he shouted. "We do this together." They crossed successfully, reaching a larger platform at the center of the floating valley. The silver being spoke again. You are ready for the challenge of others. Prepare yourselves, for what you encounter next will test your humanity more than your intellect." Lila's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Bring it on. Humans, we can handle it." Martine laughed softly. "Humans, yes, we can. And we always will." Above them, the sky shimmered with strange colors, alien constellations spinning slowly. Below, the energy rivers twisted like ribbons of light. Somewhere beyond, beings waited, beings unlike anything humans had ever imagined. But Martine and Lila knew one thing for certain. Whatever came next, humans were ready. Humans were special, and humans would rise to meet the challenge because they always did. The floating platform stretched endlessly before them, glowing softly under the twin moons of Calvion. Streams of pure energy flowed between the platforms, twisting and turning like silver ribbons in the air. Martine and Lila walked cautiously, their feet careful but confident, the silver being floated silently beside them, its light pulsing in rhythm with the energy streams. "Do you think they are friendly?" Lila whispered, glancing at Martine. "Friendly or not," Martine replied, tightening his grip on his satchel strap, "we have to show them humans are capable of respect and understanding. That's how we survive, and maybe even thrive." The cube in Lila's satchel floated above her palm, spinning gently. Its blue light illuminated the pathways ahead. Somehow it seemed to communicate not just directions, but emotions, guiding them, comforting them, warning them. As they reached the largest platform yet, a sound echoed across the valley, a low hum, almost like 1,000 voices speaking in unison. Figures began to appear at the far end of the platform. They were unlike anything Martine or Lila had seen. Tall, lithe beings with translucent skin moved with grace. Their limbs seemed to shift subtly, like liquid glass, and their eyes glowed softly with colors that changed with their expressions. They paused as Martine and Lila approached, observing them carefully. One of the beings stepped forward, its voice melodic yet firm. "Humans, you have arrived. We have observed your species for many cycles. Few possess the balance of intellect, courage, and heart. Few are willing to learn." Martine bowed slightly, feeling the weight of the moment. "We are explorers," he said. "Curious, careful. We want to understand, and we want to help." Lila stepped forward beside him. "Humans are strong in many ways, but most of all, we care about what we learn and how we use it. We listen, we adapt, and we always try to do what's right." The alien's eyes shifted colors, as if measuring her sincerity. Then, slowly, the figure gestured toward a smaller platform nearby. A holographic projection appeared above it, showing images of different planets, civilizations, and technologies. "This," the being said, "is the Council of Knowledge. It tests all who wish to join us. Only those who can think, empathize, and cooperate may access the wisdom we guard. Humans, You have reached this point because of your unique nature. But now, you must prove it. Martin exchanged a glance with Lila. We're ready, he said. We'll do whatever it takes. The projection shifted, showing a series of challenges. The first involved a group of holographic beings in distress on a distant planet. Martin and Lila had to coordinate strategies to rescue them, using only the limited tools and energy streams available on the floating platforms. This is a test of planning, Lila said. We need to think, not just react. Martin nodded. Humans are good at strategy, especially when we work together. Let's divide the tasks. For hours, or maybe it was only minutes, the two humans worked tirelessly, moving energy streams, activating holographic tools, and communicating constantly. The cube hovered between them, responding to their ideas, lighting up when they made correct decisions, dimming when mistakes were made. Finally, the holographic beings were rescued, and the projection dissolved. The alien observers tilted their heads, watching silently. You have succeeded, one said. You demonstrated foresight, teamwork, and empathy. Humans, you think differently, and that is your strength. The next challenge appeared, a moral puzzle. A planet had resources enough to sustain two civilizations, but only if decisions were made fairly. A single era could doom one society. Martin and Lila studied the holographic models carefully. This is tricky, Martin said. It's not just logic, it's ethics. Humans are special because we care about fairness, even if it's hard. Lila nodded. We have to find a solution that benefits both sides. Humans, we try to do what's right, even when it's risky. After deliberation, they implemented a plan that balanced resources fairly, using creative solutions the aliens had not anticipated. Again, the holographic beings cheered silently, and the projection dissolved. The aliens murmured among themselves, their colors shifting with subtle patterns that Martin could not fully comprehend. Then one of them spoke. Humans, you are capable of something rare. You combine courage, creativity, and morality in ways many species cannot. That is why you are here. The cube in Lila's satchel pulsed brighter than ever. It hovered higher, then shot a beam of light toward the platform ahead. A massive door appeared, shimmering like liquid silver. Beyond it lay a room filled with ancient books, holographic records, and devices older than humans could imagine. This is the archive of knowledge, the alien said. Few species are allowed entry. Humans, you have proven your worth. But know this, knowledge is not just power.
It is responsibility. Martin and Lila stepped inside, eyes wide.
Holograms of distant galaxies, starships, and civilizations floated before them. The air hummed with the energy of untold discoveries. Lila reached out to touch a projection of a starship. It responded instantly, displaying schematics and flight paths. This could change everything for humans, she whispered. Martin smiled. Yes, but we must be careful. Ha. Knowledge without wisdom can be dangerous. Humans, we are learning not just to survive, but to thrive responsibly. The alien observers nodded. You are correct. Humans, your species has potential beyond comprehension. Your ingenuity, adaptability, and moral reasoning are rare. Many civilizations would envy your traits. Lila glanced at Martin, eyes bright. We did it. Humans,
We really are special. Martin chuckled softly.
yes, Leela. But remember, this is only the beginning. Curiosity brought us here, but courage and wisdom will take us further. Suddenly, the archive's holograms shifted, showing images of other human colonies across distant planets. Many were struggling, facing harsh environments and challenges that required creativity and cooperation. "Your species is scattered," the alien said. "Yet despite this, humans endure, adapt, and improve. That is why you are rare. You survive where others would fail. You innovate where others stagnate. You cooperate where others compete blindly." Lila's heart swelled with pride. Humans, we always try to do our best. Even when the odds are against us, we find a way. The silver beings gestured to a platform that descended from above. It carried an object wrapped in a protective field, a device similar to the cube, but much larger and more complex. "This is the seed of advancement," the alien said. "It is a gift but also a challenge. Only humans, with their unique blend of intellect, creativity, and moral reasoning, can unlock its potential. It will test your limits, guide your species, and help you reach heights few have imagined." Martine and Lila exchanged a glance. The cube pulsed in response, almost as if it approved. We can do it," Martine said. "Humans, we rise to challenges, no matter how impossible they seem." Lila reached for the seed of advancement. It floated gently into her hands, resonating with the cube in her satchel. Energy coursed through the room, illuminating every corner, every hologram, every symbol carved into the walls. The silver beings observed silently. "Humans, you carry the potential of your entire species in your hands. Remember, courage without wisdom can destroy, knowledge without morality can harm. But humans, you have shown that you can combine all these traits." Lila smiled, holding the seed carefully. "We'll use it to help our species. To explore, to understand, to survive." Martine nodded. "Humans, we don't just exist. We adapt, we learn. We rise. That is what makes us special." The silver beings slowly faded into light, leaving Martine, Lila, the cube, and the seed alone in the archive. The energy streams pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Outside, the twin moons of Calvion shone brighter, reflecting off the floating platforms in streams of energy. Humanity's potential stretched across the stars, waiting to be unlocked. Martine and Lila stepped toward the doorway, carrying their newfound knowledge and responsibility. Together, they had proven that humans were not just survivors. They were pioneers, explorers, and innovators. They were special. As they looked back at the glowing platforms and the archive behind them, Lila whispered, "Humans, we really can do anything." Martine smiled.
Yes, Lila. And someday.
The whole galaxy will see it too. The platforms shifted beneath them, carrying them forward to new adventures, new challenges, and new discoveries. The cube floated ahead, pulsing like a guiding star. Humanity's story was only beginning, and it was destined to be extraordinary. The seed of advancement pulsed softly in Lila's hands, its energy warm yet powerful. The cube hovered beside it, spinning slowly as if communicating silently. Martine watched in awe, feeling the weight of what they had been entrusted with. This was no ordinary device. This was a key to the future of humanity, a tool that could change the course of their species.
"Where do we start?" Lila asked, her voice trembling with excitement.
"There's so much we don't understand." Martine sighed. "We start carefully."
Humans are special, yes, but that also means we have responsibility. The seed isn't just a gift, it's a challenge. They moved to a wide platform that overlooked the energy streams below. The silver light of the moons reflected off the currents, creating a glowing river that seemed to flow toward the horizon. Lila placed the seed on the platform, and immediately, holographic patterns shot into the air, swirling around them. "Look!" Lila exclaimed. "It's showing coordinates, messages."
Plans? Martine squinted. The patterns were complex, unlike anything he had seen before.
Lines connected distant star systems, planets, and moons. Symbols hovered above each location, pulsing in time with the seed. This is a map," he said slowly. "But not just any map. It's showing resources, technologies, even potential dangers. The seed is giving us knowledge to help humans survive and thrive in the galaxy." Lila's eyes shone. "Humans, we can explore safely. We can build, create, and learn from what's already been discovered. This is incredible." Martine nodded. "Yes, but we have to be smart. Humans are great at learning quickly, but rushing into things without thought can be dangerous." For hours they studied the seed, trying to understand its mechanics. The cube responded to their thoughts, aligning itself with the seed's energy, pulsing brighter whenever they made correct connections. Slowly, patterns began to make sense. The seed wasn't just a map. It was a guide to human ingenuity, showing ways to solve problems, create technologies, and adapt to even the harshest conditions. Suddenly, the platform shivered. A low hum filled the air, and the holographic patterns shifted violently. Martine stepped in front of Lila, protective instincts kicking in. "What's happening?" Lila asked, her voice tense. Before either could react, a shadow moved across the platform. From the energy streams below, a figure emerged, dark, twisted, and unlike the elegant aliens they had met before. Its eyes glowed red, and it moved with unnatural speed.
Martine drew his blaster. "Humans?"
"Stay alert. This isn't friendly." The dark figure spoke, its voice a harsh, grinding sound. "You think humans are special? You think you deserve this knowledge?" Lila stepped forward, holding the seed protectively. "Humans are special because we learn, adapt, and care. We respect knowledge, and we use it responsibly. That's why we are here." The shadow laughed, a sound that echoed across the platforms. "Responsibility? Care? Bored. Humans are weak. You survive by luck, not skill. You are nothing compared to what lies ahead." Martine felt a surge of determination. Humans survive because we work together, because we think, and because we refuse to give up. That's what makes us strong. And that's what makes us special. The shadow lunged, moving faster than human eyes could follow. Martine fired his blaster, but the dark figure dodged effortlessly. The seed pulsed, reacting to Lila's courage, sending waves of light that pushed the shadow back slightly. Lila realized something. The seed, it's responding to our actions. It's protecting us. Humans can use it because we act with purpose. Martine nodded. "Humans, we don't just fight with strength. We fight with intelligence, strategy, and heart. That's why we survive challenges like this." Working together, Martine and Lila combined their efforts. Martine used the environment to block the shadow's path, while Lila directed energy from the seed, creating barriers and pulses of light. Step by step, they pushed the shadow back, forcing it to retreat toward the energy streams. Finally, with one coordinated push, the dark figure dissolved into the currents, leaving the platform calm once more. The seed's light softened, and the cube returned to Lila's satchel, spinning gently as if congratulating them. Lila breathed heavily. We did it. Humans, we faced something dangerous, and we succeeded. Martine smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. Humans survive because we are adaptable. We learn from every challenge, and we never give up, no matter how impossible things seem. The silver beings appeared beside them once more, their light calm and reassuring. Humans, you have faced danger and demonstrated your courage, intelligence, and morality. That is why the seed chose you. Few species could have succeeded. Lila held the seed close. We will use this knowledge wisely. Humans, we always try to do what's right, even when it's difficult. Martine nodded. Yes, humans are special because we learn, adapt, and rise to every challenge. This is only the beginning. The silver beings gestured to a new platform, one that stretched higher than any they had seen. Above it hovered a massive orb of pure energy, glowing with possibilities. This is the Ascension platform, one being said. Here, humans will learn to unlock the full potential of the seed. You will discover technologies, strategies, and knowledge that will change your species forever. But you must remember, knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Humans, you must continue to act with purpose, courage, and morality. Lila's eyes sparkled with excitement. We can do it. Humans, we always rise to challenges. Martine looked at the orb, then back at the silver beings. Yes, humans survive. We learn, we adapt, and we protect what we hold dear. That is why we are special. Together, they stepped onto the Ascension platform. The seed floated above, and the cube pulsed in harmony. Light surged around them, filling their vision, wrapping them in warmth and knowledge. Images of distant stars, ancient civilizations, and advanced technologies flowed through their minds. They saw possibilities, new cities, faster ships, ways to harness energy, and strategies to protect human colonies. Each vision was accompanied by a lesson, a principle to guide humanity toward wisdom and survival. Lila absorbed the information quickly, her mind racing with ideas. Humans, we can create, explore, and protect. We can rise to anything. Martine felt the weight of the responsibility, but also the thrill of the opportunity. Humans survive because we think, care, and act. That is why we are special. And now, we have the tools to prove it to the galaxy. As the Ascension platform completed its sequence, the light faded, leaving Martine and Lila standing on the glowing surface. The seed hovered above them, now stable and calm, its energy ready to be harnessed. The cube returned to Lila's satchel, spinning gently. It seemed almost alive, as if acknowledging their success. The silver being spoke one last time. Humans, your journey is only beginning. With the seed, you have the power to shape your destiny. Use it wisely. Act with courage, creativity, and morality.